All right, away we go on a Thursday podcast for you. Al, what is shaking in your ass? What's going on?
Hi there, Jerry. Real quickly, I met a fella yesterday. I was walking my dog. He pulled up in a truck
Okay.
and he rolled down the window. He goes, "I'm listening to you and Jerry right now."
The podcast.
He was listening to the podcast.
I love it. Very nice.
Then he brought up a great topic, which I have thought about a lot, but I never thought to bring it up, which is he lived in these apartments that had been renovated. So I said, I go, "Oh, you live here?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Boy, I got to tell you," he goes, "when I looked it up on Google Maps, it looked very sketchy." And I said, "Yes." I go, so many times I'll be looking at a house like on realtor.com.
Yeah.
And it's this beautifully renovated house. And then you go, "Oh, let me see what the street looks like." And when you go on Google Maps, they have the pre-renovation.
Oh, interesting.
Oh my God. In some of these places, it just look like you're
Not so good.
you're like, do monkeys in the jungle live here? Like, who's living in this house?
That's pretty funny.
And it made me think, like, how does a house get so bad? Like somebody's living in a home, they're taking care of the home, and then something happens, and then the home just looks like a complete disaster.
Well, some people don't take care of the homes, and that's what winds up happening. Some people don't have the money for the upkeep on a home. I remember, when we first when we were leaving our townhouse and we were buying our first house and we were going from place to place with the realtor, and he would ask for what our budget was. And I forget, I want to say back then our budget was like $250. I want to say now I'm going all the way back to 2000, maybe 2003. I don't remember 2003, 2004, something like that. And he's like, "All right." And I'll never forget, his name was Lenny. He's like, "You're giving me that number. Is that the number that you can, like, that's the top that you can afford? Because if you can't afford to buy the gasoline to put in the lawnmower, or if you don't have enough money to actually furnish the house, it's too much." And so I think that's what a lot of people do. They stretch too far and they don't have the money for the upkeep.
And then they don't upkeep the house, and then all of a sudden it looks like a complete disaster. And you're like,
happens fast.
Yeah.
It can happen very fast.
And then I wonder, probably what happens is another group comes in and buys the house cheap, puts all the money into it.
Well, that's where these flips come from.
Flips it, yeah.
I'm fascinated by watching enough of these shows when you see, especially that Tarek and Christina one from years back, where they would just buy the most disgusting piece of property. And a half hour later or an hour later on the show, weeks and months, obviously, for the project, it's gorgeous. And it just goes to show what vision and know-how can do to a place.
Yeah, if you can stand the stress of from the time it takes from the before to the after, that's a long, stressful period, I think.
Got to keep reminding yourself one step at a time, and it'll get there.
One step at a time. Jerry, you have an article for me?
So I saw this article in the New York Post today, and I want to run a couple of terms by you and see if you know what they are. So the headline is, "Here are the sex positions people are most curious about." And it's not missionary. That's the headline.
Okay.
And it's mostly, I believe it's for patterns in the United States. I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure what that is. I'm going to give you
popular. These are things people are interested in learning about?
They're the most searched, basically. The most curious positions people are interested in learning about. So the number one position that has been searched is called the bear hug position.
The bear hug.
Are you aware what that is?
No, but I could imagine that you're hugging someone, right? And maybe they jump up and put their legs around your waist, and then you have sex with them that way.
It sounds like you're hugging them and you're into them at the same time. There's no straddling. It looks like it's a standing up position.
Standing up hug, and then you are going.
Correct.
Okay.
This one I'm not going to mention because it is quite disgusting. So I'm going to move on from that one.
All right.
Here's one called the anvil position. Now, this one was up. This one came in third place. I'm not mentioning second place. The third place one had a 275% increase in internet searchers recently.
Anvil position.
Yes. Any idea what that might be?
No. Because the only anvil I know is from like
a cartoon, right?
Yeah, like the Roadrunner and a Wile E. Coyote, and they drop that big anvil on their head.
So I'll read what the article says. This features one partner laying on their back with legs lifted overhead and the other partner kneeling, and you fill in the blanks. That makes sense. Okay,
that's anvil position. Okay.
Coming in fourth, the bridge position. Any idea what this one is? And this one says you got to be physically fit to do this one.
I think just based on what a bridge looks like, I think this one is, Jerry, where the man is laying down and the woman is like on top of him, but laying almost parallel, and she has to hold her arms in the back.
I think
where
you
it kind of
are.
looks like a bridge.
Yeah, that one is. Yes, that
I
is.
nailed that one,
You pretty
Jerry.
much nailed that one. Fifth, the full Nelson. Any idea what this
The
is?
full Nelson.
Yes.
Let me think. I know what a full Nelson is in wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how
You're
that would.
I mean, you kind of know. This one, they say in the article, is about dominance as the receiving partner has their arms pinned above their head in position.
Hmm.
And then I give you the remaining 5 positions. All right. The butterfly. I don't, they don't describe these, I don't believe. The butterfly, whatever that is. The classic straddle. Okay, that's fine. The pile driver. What the hell is that?
I'm going to take a guess on this one. I bet you I get it correct. So a pile driver in wrestling, Jerry, is where you put the person's head between like your
Jesus
thighs
Christ.
and you lift them up.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I would guess it's probably like a.
Is it an inverted 69?
Or I believe maybe like a standing 69.
Oh my God.
69.
All right. Then the last 2 is the butler, the butter churner.
The butter churner.
What the hell is that?
Well, I know in a butter churn, Jerry, so I don't know, is this what the woman does to your wiener?
Well, that motion you're doing right now seems like it would hurt. I don't think the wiener
I
goes in
think
that
it would hurt
direction.
too.
So I don't know about that. And then the last one is called the praying mantis.
Yeah, I don't know what the praying mantis
I don't know. So those are your top 10. I'll give you the name of number 2 because people are going to be annoyed, but I'm not going to describe what it is.
Okay.
They call it the filthy Sanchez.
I don't like that.
Right. I don't either. That's
I don't
why
like any of those things. That's not even real.
I don't know. But in terms of search,
people looking that up,
second most searched position. Any of those 10 interest you?
No. Why don't people just have regular sex? What the hell's wrong with people?
Well, as the article says, it's boring.
I guess, yeah.
It is boring.
Yeah, I guess it could be boring.
Yeah, I get the sense you might try the pile driver this weekend.
Oh my! Pile drive on the floor here at the garden.
Yeah, crazy, right?
A pile driver. A lot of these, it sounds like
you'll be in shape.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I want to know what the praying mantis is.
Yeah, I don't know, but the pile driver. I mean, you've got to have. Same with that bridge one you were talking about. You've got to be in some sort of. You got to have good for the bridge. You got to have good triceps. You know what I mean? Good for the woman.
I would certainly think so. Yes.
Maybe the butter churner is, Jerry, that the woman straddles the man and moves around like she's churning, like her hips are churning the butter.
You might be right.
I think I got that one.
I will tell you, Cosmopolitan magazine wrote an article that says praying mantis is the life-changing sex position you probably didn't know about. How about that?
Well, maybe that's why people heard about it. Then they Googled it.
It might be because you kind of look like when you get into formation, their little legs stick out. I'm so confused by what this is. I feel, okay. Never mind. So this position can be achieved by anyone, but generally the partner being the receiving partner is on the bottom and the partner who is doing it. It says either with a penis or a strap-on, whatever, is on top. If you're receiving, start off by lying on your back, pop a pillow beneath your lower back, and have your partner kneel down in front of you with their legs slightly open. Next, put one leg over their shoulder, and now you get the sense. And that's what that's called.
Praying mantis.
The praying mantis. New York Post, by the way. I'm just reminding you where I got this from.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. People are getting very creative, Jerry.
Why do you think that is? I'm serious when I ask this. Why would you say that that's a life-changing position?
I don't know.
Who?
I'm not sure. Doesn't seem life-changing.
Doesn't seem nuts.
No.
Interesting.
I think the first time you have sex, that's life-changing.
Sure.
But I think anything beyond that is like,
because it says the angle lends itself to the G spot. There you go.
Oh, there you go. The very elusive G spot, Jerry.
I hear you.
My YouTube algorithms handed me a new interview where Nikki Glazer was being interviewed by who's the woman with the candle scented vagina scented candle?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow. So she has a podcast called Goop, which is her company.
Yeah.
So I see this video podcast.
Is this about the Nikki Glazer losing weight and all that? Is that the same podcast?
Because
that was headlines last week. she made headlines. I think she told Gwyneth Paltrow about all the weight she lost, and I think that was a big story.
I don't remember that, but it's possible. I mean, I legitimately listened to it the last 2 days while I was cooking dinner and eating dinner. Very strange. What she feels about monogamy in relationships with her boyfriend. I appreciate the honesty.
This is Nikki Glaser?
Nikki Glaser. This is Nikki Glaser, the comic.
Right.
She says that she allows her boyfriend to flirt with and do sexual things with other women. She does not want to be there and watch it, but she likes to hear about it, and that turns her on sexually.
Really?
To hear about him having these experiences, and that she is not interested in doing that with other men. She just wants to have sex with her boyfriend, but in order for her to be into sex, she needs to hear that other women are interested in having sex with him and flirting with and fooling around with him.
It is very interesting that you bring this up, because literally the other day, again in the Post, there was an article, I forget what the term is called, where as a relationship saver, the new trend is either the female wanting to see their husband with another woman, or the wife, or the husband wanting to see their wife with another man.
Yeah.
As this unbelievable rush you get, and it brings them closer together.
Yeah.
We must be nuts.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something I would be interested in. But she also brought up a very interesting thing that I do think about.
Okay.
She talked about, and for you, Jerry, this is, you've been married a very long time.
Yes.
You've been with your wife prior to marriage for a long time.
So I'll tell you right now, it's 34 years I'm with my wife.
So she brought up this this thing about like being in a relationship and all the positives of being in a relationship. She said, but you never, ever get to experience that early time where you're first seeing this person, you're first trying to figure out if there's a mutual attraction.
Yeah, the newness, the excitement of the newness.
Yeah, even she brought up in particular, like if you're out with that person and they touch your leg, or their hand is on your leg and they don't move it, and you're like, ooh, like the tingly feeling you get from just the brush of a hand onto your hand. Now you'll never get to experience that again with this guy that she's with. That she would love to experience that again, but that's not possible, because that's only a thing that happens in the very beginning of the courtship.
Well, sure. I mean, you can have this conversation and go further than that. The same way the wife will never, you don't think, or shouldn't experience a shorter or longer penis.
Right. She's got one penis.
Yes, I know it sounds funny, but it's true. If you're a guy, your wife is who you'll be with. You're never going to, you shouldn't, or you wouldn't think, experience a different set of boobs.
Yeah.
I mean,
a vagina, Jerry.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there, but yes, that too. All different things. You won't experience, whether it's the husband or the wife, someone that's got different likes than the person you're with that you might like. Again, we've talked about this. I think you want to have similar interests, but you're not going to be interested in everything the other person's interested in. Well, maybe you find someone that likes something your wife or husband doesn't like, and that's exhilarating to you. Well, you're not going to have that if you stay in a committed relationship. Yeah, I mean, but everybody makes sacrifices no matter. And by the way, once you do that with someone else, that gets old too.
Right.
I mean, how many times do you want that exhilaration of, someone else? I think that's why there are serial adulterers and adulteresses.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Adulteressing?
One of my favorite movies of all time is called Beautiful Girls.
Okay.
It stars Timothy Hutton, Matt
Damon?
Matt Dillon.
Oh.
Rosie O'Donnell's in it. This is a very young Natalie Portman, who plays I think she's 13. She's the girl next
young.
door. Very young. She's a kid. But the movie's about this guy who is he's a piano player in a bar,
mm-hmm.
and he comes back home for his high school reunion, 10-year reunion. So
Sure.
at this point, I guess they're like 20. He's like 27, 28. Him and his buddies, his friends are married. Some are in bad relationships, all this stuff. And he's got this. He's a piano player. He is with this woman who's a lawyer. She has a real job, and he's wondering, should he get married? And the girl next door, Natalie Portman, is kind of plays this, talking to him about life, kind of
At 13 or
at 13.
Wow,
she's only 13, but she's wise for her age at 13. And she asks her, "Are you going to marry this girl?" And he brings up a thing. He goes, "You know that part in the relationship in the very beginning, how great that is." He goes, "Why not have one more of those?" Or,
Well, why would you not feel it the same way again?
Right. That's what I mean. It's never ending.
No, it
right?
wouldn't be. I mean, at that point, you're always going to say, why not one more?
Why not one more?
Why not one more? And ultimately, it comes down to, I do believe, how much do you enjoy the person you're with? Because all that other stuff, sure, that stuff's going to come and go. There's no question. But do you enjoy being with that person? If you don't, run. Like, if you're not sure, don't do it. Which is, I know, easier said than done in a lot of cases, because I do believe a lot of people get engaged and married, and I do think they're probably not even sure on their wedding day if they should.
Yeah, that's got to be weird.
Yeah.
Like, on your actual wedding day, being like, what am I doing?
I mean, listen, I do think most people have those jitters because of the big step, obviously. But what I mean is, are you really sitting there like sick to your stomach? Am I making a mistake? Like, will this last? If you can't answer those questions, not that you will know, but at least feel that way, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Then do not do it. But yeah, I mean,
they say that's the problem with the dating apps, is that now there is an unlimited amount of people.
Yeah.
Like, not that there wasn't, you could go to the supermarket, there's tons of men and women there.
Yeah, but not easy to meet them.
Correct. Where on the app, it's easy to meet these people and it's easy to move on from the people, right? So you get that little charge, then you move on to the next person, get the little, they say a dopamine hit, Jerry.
Yeah, I believe it. Sure. I can see that. There's no right answer to it. I mean, some people, I'm amazed by, where are there places where you have multiple wives? Is that in,
I think, Utah?
Right. I couldn't imagine being one of the persons that's sharing someone. It just sounds terrible, but like, if it was you and you had 3 women that you were marrying.
Yeah, marrying 3 women, Jerry.
Okay, fine. Could you imagine, though, being one of 3 men marrying 1 woman?
No.
Right. So at some point, it doesn't work for somebody.
Right.
It's just amazing to me how much, and it feels like it's more the younger generation, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's older people, because you know what, that Post article, I forget, I think it was called hot wifing. I think that was the term, hot wifing. I believe that was not younger people in a younger, different age bracket. I think it was more our age, if I'm pretty sure. Here it is. 2 days ago, New York Post. I'm sorry, 4 days ago. Hot wifing is a bizarre new sex trend, but couples swear it's saving their marriages. To me, if that's what my wife wants, then go. We're good. It'll suck, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in watching another. I'm just not.
Yeah. And like Nikki, what's her name? Nikki Glaser. She wasn't saying she didn't want to watch her man, but she wanted to. But she has no
problem with him being with someone else.
She wanted him to go out, come back with a story to tell her while they were being sexual.
She's still going to envision it, though.
Yeah, it's
you
weird,
have to be.
But
able
she seemed to be telling the truth.
I'm sure she is, and I really believe this article is. There's a lot of truth in it, I'm sure. I mean, let's see. One person explained it's kind of like letting your friend test drive your car. What?
Yeah.
Why would you want to see that?
But that came up in the interview as well.
This is the other quote. He gets to see how well it rides. He's got to give it back, but it creates a sense of pride. You get a little taste of what life is like. Oh, okay. To me, just get divorced then.
Yeah.
And go find someone to have that.
Be somebody who dates a lot.
Because if you get into an argument, how does that not come up at some point?
Oh, I would imagine it would.
Yeah, I think so. How do you not throw that back in the face of your partner?
Yeah, I would definitely.
Oh, yeah? Really? Were you thinking about that when he was sticking it in your right?
Yes, definitely,
I
Jerry.
mean, come on.
Yeah, very strange. It's weird how different people's minds work. And Nikki Glazer said that she was told that means that she has intimacy issues.
She's admitted that too.
Yeah.
And not in this, but I've seen her in different
Yeah.
interview. Her podcast, she's talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate she seems to be a very honest person.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm always fascinated by the relationship she has with her dad, which seems to be very good.
Yeah.
Given the nature of her show and the subject matter and the way she talks about stuff. And I know it's a show, but I also think there's some truth to what is being said during the show. And yeah, it's a weird one. Like, I don't know.
Does she still do a regular podcast?
I used to listen daily. I've kind of gotten away from podcasts the last year or so. My guess is yes, but I'm not sure.
Well, I know she used to have a show on Sirius XM, I thought.
But did she? I only knew about her podcast. I used to get it on Spotify, I think.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look.
Yeah.
Always a good guest, though. If I see, and YouTube knows I like Nikki Glazer, YouTube is always feeding me. Like, here's Theo Vaughn making Nikki Glazer laugh.
Sure.
Here's a clip.
I'm proud of Nikki Glazer from, not proud of Nikki Glazer. I shouldn't say that. I feel like I was one of the first ones in on her.
You were early.
Yeah. When she was like becoming popular, I'm like, I remember I had tickets to see her 2 years ago and the show got canceled and I lost all that money because they rescheduled it for a night where Rutgers had a game. But she's going to be in town, I think this summer. I think she's doing, is it the Beacon?
I think Beacon.
The Beacon?
I think so.
We should get her in.
I think she might be too big a star now.
I don't think so. I don't know. To come in on TV, I don't know. I mean, maybe. You might be right.
Ever since the Tom Brady roast, that put her over the top.
Yeah, but we've had Shaquille O'Neal in here.
That's true.
I mean,
the problem with these people now,
Zoom.
No, it's hard to get to the person that will actually ask the actual person if they want to do it.
Right. It kind of
gets just like, no, we're not going to do that. Oh, right. Sports. Oh, no, we're not going to do that.
Right. And she could be the type where if you ran into her, you're like, you don't want to do the show? Would have no idea you even wanted her on.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, I know she used to go on with KFC, Barstool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's
which is
cool.
Before she was a big star.
Yeah. I just don't know. I mean, you know better than I do, I'm sure, but I don't know that she's got the personality to feel like she's too big or better than you to do the show now.
No, I agree. I think her people probably.
Yeah.
Because as she gets bigger.
Right.
She gets higher representation at these
That's true.
agencies.
That is true. And making more and more
money.
We'll give
it a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, we will give it a shot, Jerry. Believe it or not, I had reached out to the book publisher for Bill Belichick.
Oh, okay.
Because his book is coming out.
Yeah.
And I reached out. The guy said, oh, yeah, we're collecting and we'll figure out. And a month went by. And I heard from the guy a day or so ago. He said, the book's ready. We're going to send the book out. Still trying to, he's not doing a lot of interviews because he's got the North Carolina stuff and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna DM that girlfriend of his. She did not respond, but I did DM her.
It's a good try.
Well, yeah, it could still happen.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, does Boomer know Bill Belichick? I said, oh yeah, they know each other. I go, do they text each other? No. But
Boomer's interviewed him several times.
Many times over the years.
Yeah.
For Westwood and NFL Today. So we'll see. I think it'll be a good one.
I think you get him.
I do think it'll be a phoner.
It will be a phoner. Have you guys ever thought about with someone like a Belichick? I don't mean a random guy. Have you ever thought about doing the Zoom things for TV?
Yeah, I don't know if we just are afraid it's not going to work.
I mean, this radio station does it nonstop.
Yeah. How's it sound on the radio?
Sounds fine. It sounds better than a phone feed. I'll tell you that.
It does?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we will do it then.
Especially if it's good internet. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And if it goes down, you put them on the phone. What's the big deal?
True.
I don't know. It just seems, I think that's better for the TV audience too.
Yeah. If we do it, I'm going to go, hi, Bill.
I'll tell you one thing. Belichick used to call Joe a lot in the overnight. I don't know why they struck up a relationship, but they did. He was the most pleasant when he would call. I mean, there was one time he called at 5 a.m. He was supposed to call in at 1 a.m. Well, I'm sorry. He was supposed to call in at 10 p.m. We were there early to tape, and Belichick forgot. 5 a.m. Now, keep in mind, Joe only did 5 to 5:20 because of the Imus show. 5:02, Belichick called in. completely forgot apologizing. He couldn't have been a nicer. Every time he called, such a nice guy. And then you see how difficult he was with the media.
But now he seems like fun belt.
He's back
Bill
to being
Belichick.
fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Jared, let's do the warm-up show.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Friday. So